When Samsung released the S25 Ultra, I thought this device was great. Of course, it's still great. But then Xiaomi released the 15 Ultra and then the 17 Pro Max. This is different. With this device, you get an amazing battery life, a 100 watts charger, 7500 mAh battery, and dual displays for about 3/4 the price of this smartphone. Now the question is, should you still get the S25 Ultra now that the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max is on the market? I'm going to help you decide that if you're trying to choose, and so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. The S25 Ultra finally ditched the boxy shape for slightly rounded edges, and it feels better in their hands. But Xiaomi here, they didn't just refine, they reimagined a smartphone. The 17 Pro Max from Xiaomi uses this sleek aluminum frame with the Dragon Crystal Glass 3 protection, as they call it, and somehow it still looks more futuristic thanks to the secondary display at the back. Now Samsung still wins with refinement, the titanium frame, which is stronger, precise machining, tighter tolerances, and it screams premium too. If you ask me, the Xiaomi device on here has more flair, and it's not just looks. It's got this stronger IP68 rating, good for 6 meters for 30 minutes, while the Samsung here still plays safe at 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. So Samsung is elegance, and I'd say durability for the build quality is stronger in the hand, but Xiaomi has this attitude and vibes, while still sturdy and being premium. At the end of the day, you can pick any of these devices and be fine. Both are really good. Samsung's audio is tuned by AKG, it's clean sound. Xiaomi matches that with this high-res audio and a slightly louder output in most tests. By the way, Samsung keeps the S Pen functionality this year, and that's even though they removed the Bluetooth gesture this year. This remains unique in the flagship space, so if you're an artist or a note taker, then Samsung wins. So it's actually the S Pen against the secondary display. Which would you pick? Let me know in the comment section below. And while at that, do not forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, all that good stuff. It helps us a bunch. Thank you. Okay, here's where I spent hours pixel peeping the cameras. For the numbers, you're getting 50 megapixel sensors all through the Xiaomi device, while the Samsung gives you 50 megapixels for the periscope and the ultra wide, a 200 megapixel main sensor, and a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto lens. From afar, both look almost identical, but zoom in and the differences start to appear. For the main cameras, the S25 Ultra leans slightly greenish, while Xiaomi's photos have this Leica style punch, thicker contrast, deeper saturation, and more life. Skin tones are sometimes close, but Xiaomi tends to brighten and smoothen faces a bit. It's flattering, even if sometimes it crosses into this too perfect category. Samsung, on the other hand, keeps it warm and natural. You see your pores, the texture, and this true to life kind of look. Sometimes I prefer Samsung's tone, other times Xiaomi's rich, colorful vibes just win. In most cases, people will likely prefer Xiaomi's main camera because it looks more cinematic and instantly appealing, especially with this sun in frame shots where it's handled the flaring better than the S25 Ultra and also better than the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Portraits for me looked good on both of these devices, but believe it or not, there were times Xiaomi did better. It nailed edge detection and lighting more consistently, while the Samsung sometimes added an extra nostril for me. Yeah, that happened. So for main camera stills, Xiaomi 17 Pro Max takes it. Here's where the balance shifts. The S25 Ultra's ultra wide pops more color, more sharpness, especially in greens and skies. The Xiaomi sometimes comes off a bit softer or less crisp. So while Xiaomi dominates the main lens, Samsung still rules the ultra-wide game. Now let's talk about the zoom cameras. 2x shots are nearly identical to their main cameras. I mean, it just crops from the main cameras. At 3x, Xiaomi pulls ahead, it's sharper and richer. At 5x, it's not even close. Xiaomi's periscope lens delivers detail and makes the S25 Ultra look soft. Now at 10x, Xiaomi embarrasses Samsung, especially with strong sunlight. Samsung loses contrast and struggles with flare, while Xiaomi still holds texture and dynamic range. So, for the zooms beyond 3x, Xiaomi is the new telephoto champ. Now this one is tricky. Xiaomi has a 50 megapixel massive front-facing camera, and Samsung uses 12 megapixels. But megapixels don't tell the whole story. Xiaomi smoothens your face, brightens the skin, and gives you this polished social media look straight out of the box. Samsung keeps it honest, more detail, true skin tones, and even the pores. So where Xiaomi takes the lead in terms of the selfie camera would be switching over to the back display and using the main camera for your selfies. Now this gives you the best selfie on a smartphone right now. If you're into this Chinese coloring and smoothing of the faces, then this is the best selfie camera you can have on a smartphone. For selfie portraits though, on the front-facing cameras, both of these devices mess up sometimes, although they are really good, but they can be tricked. Samsung once blurred out my earrings completely, while Xiaomi at least kept it a bit visible as seen. Still, if you want natural looking selfie camera photos, then the Samsung is the device to pick. But if you want ready to post photos from your selfie camera, Xiaomi might win for a lot of people. Both of these devices can shoot videos up to 8K at 30 FPS and 4K up to 120 FPS. But here's where I noticed the real differences. Shooting in 4K, Xiaomi's videos have more contrast and look more dramatic out of the camera, but that also means cross shadows and lost detail. Samsung's S25 Ultra is flatter, calmer, and more flexible, and also this is crucial, you can shoot in log format with this Samsung device, which is also available to record on the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. However, the Xiaomi's microphones record slightly louder and fuller audio, so it's better if you're vlogging without an external microphone. For selfie videos, I still prefer the Samsung. It's more natural in skin tones and less over-processing going on here. So here's the bottom line. If you're into filmmaking, then go with the Samsung for videos. But if you want straight out of the camera, punch and sound and also better photos, then go with the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. Samsung has always been the king of displays for years, and on this smartphone you get a 6.9-inch QHD dynamic AMOLED 2X display, 120Hz, 2600 nits of peak brightness, and that signature Samsung calibration, bright, contrasty, and clean. But Xiaomi said, cool story, hold my glass. And they dropped a 6.9-inch LTPO AMOLED display with Dolby Vision, HDR Vivid, and a mind-blowing 3500 nits of peak brightness, plus 2160Hz pulse width modulation for comfort in low light. Both of these displays are really good outdoors, especially for the Samsung with the better anti-glare coating on the panel. It really does a great job at reflecting light away from this display, making it one of the best displays for outdoor use. The Xiaomi makes up for this with a brighter display which drains your battery quicker. Oh, and this second display is a 2.9-inch display, 120Hz, same AMOLED display, and it's very good for selfie photos. This display looks insane when taking selfies outdoors. You know that flex in public like my phone has two displays? Yeah, you got it from this device. I wouldn't call this a gimmick because you can check your notifications, control your music, and also use it as your viewfinder for taking selfies. For me, these displays are playing a little bit different games. Samsung's color accuracy and great anti-reflective screen, while you get the dual displays and a little more fun with the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. It all depends on what you want. The brighter display from Xiaomi and dual displays, or the more color accurate Samsung, and the anti-reflective display from this brand. Okay, let's talk about the performance on these smartphones. Both of these smartphones are running Snapdragon processors, and you get the Snapdragon 8 Elite chipset on the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, while you get the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, the newer processor, on the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max. And this is the same processor we would get on the S26 Ultra, which is supposed to launch in a few months from now. For gaming, both of these smartphones crush Genshin Impact, PUBG, Call of Duty at the max settings, so they're really good for gaming. Thermals are great on these smartphones, all thanks to the vapor chamber cooling for these smartphones. Now, this is titanium and this is aluminum, so this does a little more stretch in terms of the performance because of the more efficient newer chipsets, and aluminum is good for dissipating heat better than titanium. You can get the Xiaomi and the Samsung up to 16 GB of RAM and a terabyte of storage. If that's your thing, you can go for that maxed configuration. Same on both of them. Except you're benchmarking every hour, you should get about the same experience in terms of performance and multitasking on these devices. But as far as value for money in terms of performance, the Xiaomi is the guy to beat. For the software, this smartphone, the Samsung, came out of the box with One UI 7 and Android 15. Right now, I've updated to One UI 8, Android 16, and One UI seems to be more refined, cohesive, and with the Galaxy AI here, you have this generative AI which is really amazing, live translate, circle to search, and all these other useful day-to-day AI features. But for the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max, this has the Chinese ROM, so you do not have the regular Gemini AI features on the smartphone, except you configure it to use Gemini and other global ROM features. Now, I made a video where you can easily learn to convert your Chinese ROM into a global ROM. You can go check it out here. With HyperOS 3 and this smartphone, you get Android 16 out of the box, The AI processing here is more focused on photography, like the Leica styles, smoothing of faces and brightening faces, and some people like those. You also get this Gemini-like AI feature, which is in Chinese. I don't know what it's called, but it's here. Likes to speak. Now, as far as the software update, you're getting 7 years of updates on Samsung, while Xiaomi promises 4 to 5 years of updates into the future. So for longevity and ecosystem, Samsung definitely wins. But if you want customization and you like to tinker with things, you like customizing your smartphone, this has that more playful touch to it. Xiaomi wins in that department. Out of the box, you're getting a 7500 milliamp hour battery, a 100-watt charging brick from the box, which charges this device from 0 to 100% under 50 minutes. You get wireless charging up to 50 watts and reverse wireless charging up to 22.5 watts. That's insane. For the Samsung, you're getting a 5000 milliamp hour battery, 45 watts fast charging wired connection, a wireless charging system which is up to 15 watts and reverse wireless charging with 4.5 watts. That's not the fastest I've seen, but it does work. For power efficiency, the Xiaomi absolutely wins and dominates this category. Even though Android might not give you the best power management, you get about the same power life or screen on time as the iPhone 16 Pro Max with the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max, even though this has about 50% more battery than these other devices. So if you want a charger in the box, the better power management and battery system, then go with the Xiaomi. Samsung doesn't have a charger in the box. This wins. Now let's talk pricing. The S25 Ultra started out at $1,300, but you can currently get it for $1,100 or 1.7 million naira here in Nigeria, while the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max starts out at $900 or 1.6 million naira here in Nigeria. So locally, it's $100 less than the S25 Ultra, but internationally, you're looking at $200 upwards. For me, the Xiaomi gives you dual displays, better battery life, faster charger, and a better photo camera, while the Samsung here gives you longer software updates, better refinement, and also this Samsung ecosystem. At this level, neither of these devices are bad. They are both ridiculous pieces of tech. The Samsung S25 Ultra is for people who want stability, ecosystem, and longevity, and the Xiaomi is for those who crave innovation, speed, and fun. For me, I prefer the One UI software or UI on the Samsung over this Chinese ROM, the support for eSIM on this device, the S Pen. Even though Xiaomi gives you better battery life and dual displays, I might stick to Samsung, but that might not be the case for you. Better value for money, better camera for photos, not videos, better charging speeds and all that. So which of these devices are you going to pick, Samsung or the Xiaomi? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and also do not forget to check out this video where I compare the Xiaomi with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Catch you in that video. Kui that day.